This is Buckeye Burl, and Buckeye Burl is a very nice guitar wood for guitar tops. It's got some really interesting figure, lots of interesting patterns running through it. I purchased this piece off of eBay. There's a lot of guys that are selling this stuff now, actually more so than in the past couple of years from what I can see. Haven't worked with this probably in about 3 or 4 years. I had a guy send me a top. I did a Les Paul and a Telly. What I really like about Buckeye Burl is the coloring. It's got a much different color than some other woods. This kind of gray, yellow hue really lend to some interesting stain patterns once you put a clear coat on it. The finish really can look outstanding with the depth. You got a lot of depth in Buckeye Burl, which I really like. As you go through and start playing with the different pieces, I actually think this is probably the best flame pattern here, because you've got flame here, you got flame running throughout the whole body, and you got the coloring on the outside. I'll probably go with this. In terms of workability, Buckeye Burl is a little bit soft. This actually is a pretty good piece. It's nice and hard. This has been kiln dried, it's stable, it's ready to work with. It's a really nice piece. I bought in some pieces that are a tad spongy and have a lot more holes, you know, that need to be filled, or, you know, solid up with super glue or something along those lines. But it's a really nice piece of wood in terms of workability. It really doesn't scratch up your tools. You know, to clean off this, it'll just be a little bit of sanding. Sands very well. You know, it is soft. I'd say it's somewhat comparable to a hard piece of spalted maple in terms of kind of the feel. I would say, you know, spalted maple is a lot more spongy at times, and I think there's certain pieces of Buckeye Burl that you can get that can be spongy. So this wood is definitely not for the faint of heart. It's probably easier to work with than spalted maple, but you will get some spongy pieces every once in a while that you got to be aware of. That if you buy this, you know, it is very expensive for a guitar top. In terms of tap tone, you know, that being said, it's a tad spongy. This piece actually sounds pretty good. I'd say it's brighter than some of the other pieces I've played with. It's pretty solid. So really don't have a whole lot of worries with this piece. You know, even with some of the run out here and some of the natural edges, I think this will make a pretty good top. Not so sure what I'm going to do with it. This is actually a pretty big piece. So, you know, Buckeye Burl is definitely an interesting piece of wood. It's a little bit expensive for what I like to do, but I figured I'd buy a piece here off eBay and do a review.